Hello, everybody. This is Vince Russo for Vince Russo's Brand on the Realm Network and Podcast One. And remember, you can see all the shows you hear on Podcast One a day earlier and also get exclusively Castrating the Marks. You don't get that on Podcast One, only on the Realm Network. It's less than $1 a week. Just go to russosbrand.com. This is a bucket full of chicken necks. This is when we get off of wrestling and we talk a little bit more about what's going on in the world, especially in the world of entertainment, sports, some news items. And I am with, as always, the co-host of this show, the great star maker, Mr. Kenny Bolin. Mr. Bolin, how you doing this morning?
Wait just a minute. This is week 3. This is week 3, and this is the first time I've heard you have the confidence to say I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, because I think last week I had a leash. The other week was a trial, and we survived the first 3 weeks. Well, this is week 3.
This is week 3.
Am I now the official co-host of Bucket Full of Chicken Necks?
All right, let's not get panicky. Yeah, I would say so. I would say so, Mr. Ball. And as always, bro, if they're watching on the Realm Network, your hair looks fantastic, Mr. Ball.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm going to make a confession to you.
Go ahead.
As you know, I'm on disability, and I have a home health nurse that comes and helps me with issues that I have a couple of times a week. And I'm not able to take a shower like regular people because my legs are compression wrapped to keep them from swelling on me. I absorb fluid real easily. And if my legs aren't wrapped, it can get out of hand. And this is the first time I've really ever told this. So I don't get to take a shower, but once, sometimes twice a week, a real shower. The other times I have to wash off in the sink. Well, due to snowstorms here and the way scheduling is lined up, I haven't got to take a real shower. This is day 8. I finally get to take a real shower today. This hair has not been washed in 8 days.
Very nice. And it looks wonderful. And Mr. Bowen, when you talk about now you got to wash in the sink, I got a vision of you actually getting in the sink.
Yeah.
How does that work, Mr. Bowen?
Well, no, I don't actually climb my large pompous into the sink. I wash off in the bathroom, and I have to use the hot water from the sink, and because my legs are wrapped and I cannot physically get in the shower.
Now, Mr. Bolin, I have to ask you the question.
Do we really want to go any further with
Yes, because I have to ask you the question, because now everybody's going to want me to ask this question. We got to, bro, this is all about the audience. Am I right, Mr. Bolin? You taught me that.
It's all about, yeah, it's all about the audience.
All right, after the nurse bathes you in the sink, which is a beautiful picture. I'm painting this beautiful picture in my mind.
Lovely Maria, beautiful 40.
Lovely Maria. Mr. Bo, I have to ask this question because we have a very demanding audience. Are there any happy endings from the nurse in the?
Not that I will discuss here. Absolutely not.
But we will discuss later on in a private conversation.
I do not happy end and tell. I do not do that.
All right, Mr. Bolin, let's get to the news.
Man,
let's get to the
didn't
news.
Expect the show to start off this way.
Well, you started it, bro. You're telling me you're bathing in a sink. Where do you think I'm going to go with that, Mr. Bolin, when you're telling me you're bathing in a sink?
I was just proud this hair hadn't been washed in 8 days. There's not a lot of 57-year-old men can pull this off.
Okay.
Now, you were smart enough to test your mic before we got started. Is that thing on?
You sound beautiful, Mr. Bolin.
Okay. All right.
Mr. Bolin, let's get to the news. Okay, because you're a worldly man. I want to see what you think about these topics I got tonight.
I hope I'm up on them.
Mr. Bolin, Kim and Kanye. I know you're a big fan of the Kardashians. They just had their surrogate child, the 3rd child, which was a surrogate child. Okay?
Surrogate, as we say here in Louisville. Surrogate.
All right, Mr. Bolin. Do you want there to be a fourth? If you want there to be a fourth show, you can't be corrected my speech, Mr. Bolin.
I'm sorry.
All right. Okay.
You can't be giving happy ending stories on here either.
Mr. Bolin, would you be willing to do one of these shows while Maria has you in the sink and she's bathing you? Now you want ratings? Now that's ratings, bro.
I do have a 35-foot camera extension that should reach to the bathroom.
All right, Mr. Bolin, let's stop this nonsense and get back to the news.
Yeah.
Kim and Kanye just had their, how do you say it? Surrogate? Surrogate? Okay. Now, listen to this. They're being offered anywhere between $2 and $5 million for pictures of this kid, us and people and the whole 9 yards. Now they're turning down the money because they're saying it's immoral. It's immoral to take the money in exchange for pictures of other kids. Mr. Baldwin, I'm sitting here and I'm saying two things to myself. Okay, first of all, Kanye West and Kim Kardashian, are we really going to talk about morals? Kim Kardashian has a career because of a sex tape. So
I'm glad you brought it up. Saves me the trouble.
Yeah, so right there, let's forget about who we're going to take the high road and be moral. Now, Mr. Baldwin, wouldn't you think that there are some charities, the St. Jude Hospital,
stole it out of my mind. I'm
$5 million. Give $5 million to the St. Jude charity. Mr. Baldwin, you and I know every baby freaking looks alike. What difference does it make? Go ahead.
Are you my real brother? Are you my real brother?
The floor's yours. Go ahead.
I swear I was sitting here thinking the same thing. And I had a baby. And you had a few. I have a little boy named Christopher Michael James Bolin. When he was born, they had me go to the, what do they call it, the ward or whatever it is that you go see your son at or daughter.
Yeah, they're in those little microwaves, whatever.
Yeah, in those little microwaves. I looked amongst 30 babies at Baptist Hospital in Nashville, Tennessee. My kid, I produced it. No doubt about it. No milkman, no nothing. Couldn't pick him out of a lineup of 30 kids. I had to have somebody show me the sign that had his name and weight on it. Yep, okay, I guess that's mine if y'all say so. Until he developed, until he was 2, 3, 4 years old, there would have been no convincing me that if they'd have switched me, I'd have never knew. Until maybe he was 2. When he was 2, he was starting to show signs. Yeah, it could be my kid. So, number one, yes, charity, for crying out loud. Number 2, why does anybody give a rat's patootie? Can we say rat's patootie on here?
Yeah, you can say that. Yes,
rat's patootie as to who they all, like you just said, they all look alike anyway, but barring color. Well,
the only thing, well, it's a surrogate, because I was going to say if she actually spit it out of her womb, the baby's ass would probably be bigger than every other baby's ass.
No, that's not true, because we all know that ass is a post-surgical manufactured. It's not real. She wasn't born with that. It's not like J-Lo, Now, if that's J-Lo's butt, you got something going there. I think she was born with hers. I'm pretty sure that Kim was not. I think that's well documented.
But yeah, all of a sudden, we're going to take the moral road when our claim to fame was a sex tape with Ray J, when you could take this $5 million that you could take from these rags, us and people and all that crap.
Yeah. Name of the charity that would not help.
I mean, come on, mister. But it's a no-brainer, no?
Chris and Maya and myself, we go around Louisville, Kentucky as often as we can. And we gather food from a lot of the people that we have connections here. And we pass out food to the homeless here. Can you imagine what $5 million divided up amongst countless homeless shelters around the country would do? Pick the major cities. That's where most of the homeless are.
But what's more important to them? Here's what's more important.
Well, let's hear what's more important. I'm dying to hear
the way that perception and the way they're being perceived, and just the way that they could throw around. Oh, it's immoral. Oh, wait, it's immoral to sell the pigs. It's all about the way that people are looking at them and their perception, rather than hell yeah, let's take that $5 million and put it where it's needed.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing. The only thing that's more disturbing and more sick that they won't take 5 million or 10 million or 1 million and give it to charity is who's wanting to pay the 5 million to see this creepy little kid.
Oh, this is like People, Us Magazine, National, all those.
And why do we as people care? Because if we as people didn't care, People Magazine and Us and We or whoever magazine wants to post this thing, Playboy, I don't know. Why? Why are we so concerned about what Kim's baby looks like?
And they all look alike, and it's not even her baby.
Or Tom Hanks' baby or Beyonce's baby. Why do we? And we seem to care more about the rapper and the musical industry's babies than we do other babies. Why? Can you tell me why that is?
Mr. Bowling, let me ask you a hypothetical
Because
question.
it's a real mystery as to who that kid might belong to. Well, we already know this one isn't Kim's.
Let me ask you a hypothetical question.
I guess 50% of it is.
If you're like a William Randolph Hearst, and you're a publishing tycoon, and you have all this money to spend on whatever, tell me the pictures that you would spend $5 million on. What would you pay $5 million? What kind of pictures?
Well, now, personally,
you mentioned J-Lo's ass a couple of minutes ago. Is that $5 million worthy?
Is that $5 million? Haven't we already seen it? I mean, hell, she dances in a thong. I don't know what much more there is left to be seen.
Yeah,
$5 million.
What are you paying for that, Mr. Bowling?
Me being bathed in a bathroom sink. I think.
Yes, you took the words right out of. I'd pay $5 million to see the lovely Maria bathe you in the sink.
I may have to have a talk with Maria today. That could be available to you by noon tomorrow.
But you're I mean, Mr. Bowling, that's the whole thing. We're talking about $5 million. She didn't even give birth to this child.
Oh, you know what? This is how closely I follow. I thought that when you said by surrogate that she was medically induced with another man's semen.
No.
Someone else have the baby.
Someone else had the baby.
Well, now it's 100% not their baby, right?
No, not their baby. Ridiculous, right?
I thought it was 50-50. Well, now I'm really blown away by this.
Yeah, unbelievable.
You just go down to the hospital, snap a picture of any baby, and say, I got it. Here it is. And who's going to argue with you?
Mr. Bowling, I guarantee you somewhere in the contract with the surrogate, guarantee you the mother of the surrogate did not want the pictures sold. Yep. And Conway and the other one, since they can't sell the pictures, Kim, now they're saying that they made the decision because it was immoral. I guarantee you.
You and I technically are semi-retired, pretty much. And I think we both kind of stepped away from the wrestling business pretty close to the same time. We both have a fair amount of free time on our hands when we're not doing podcasting. And thanks to you, I'm now doing like 12 shows a month. I'm now doing shows for Bill Apter on the side. I'm doing shows for David Hero and Dave Nelson. Are you familiar with them?
Yeah, you're the Pat Cooper. I told you, you're the Pat Cooper of broadcasting.
The Pat Cooper of broadcasting. So now thanks to you, I was working one day a month and loving it. And now, thanks to you, I'm doing about 12 shows a month. But other than that, you and I are semi-retired. But look at the investigative work that we've done right here today. Sitting at our desk.
Unbelievable.
Didn't get up. We're not out banging elbows with all the other photogs. We got it right here. We got all the scoops. We got all the details. Why don't you think Harvey's his name over there at TMZ? Why don't Harvey and who's the guy with the braids? Because you watch it every day too. I'm just blanking out on his name.
Lenny Kravitz.
It's not Lenny. It's not Lenny Kravitz. He looks a lot like Lenny. That's not Lenny.
Benny. I think Benny Kravitz. I think that's his brother.
I'll give you Benny. But why aren't we the guys? Why don't you and I become the new co-host of TMZ? Because we crack this stuff right here. I mean, it's also no need to go out and snap pictures, ask questions. We got it all covered right here.
I missed the bowling. Let's move on.
You know what? Before we move on, I got to say one thing. I am on cloud 9 today. Do you remember when I was bragging about MC Hammer started following me?
Yes. Yeah, big shot, Kenny Ball. Yes.
This guy doesn't have 6 million followers. Matter of fact, he doesn't have 1 million. Matter of fact, he barely has more than you. Are you familiar with a man named Mean Gene Okerlund?
Very nice. New follower for Mr. Bowling. New follower.
He started following me, which I think I commented on one of his posts or something, but I didn't follow him or anything. And then about 5 a.m. this morning, when I'm preparing for my show here with Mr. Russo, I noticed Mean Gene Okerlund's following me. And I was never more, what a legend in this business that Mean Gene Okerlund is. And
he is a legend, absolute legend. Very good.
Class act for him to follow me. I was blown away, Vince, even more than MC Hammer.
Okay. Can we get back to the news? Mr. Bowling, I have to bring some.
That was news.
Listen to me. I got to bring up some political. Please don't bring me down the rabbit hole. Promise me beforehand.
I don't know what you're going to ask me, so I can't make you that promise.
Bowler, I'm doing my work today. I'm preparing for this show, and I got a little tiny
at 5 a.m. when I was preparing at 5 a.m.
Yeah, seriously, it was that early. And I got a little TV on my desk. I need to have noise in the background, right?
I got you.
And Mr. Bowling, Yeah, extra is on my little TV on my desk.
All right.
Okay,
I'll
bro.
watch extra from time to time.
Okay, yeah, I'm taking my notes and I'm watching as Mr. Bolin. Please agree with me on this.
All right.
Please agree. Mr. Bolin, they gotta stop with this freaking Oprah for president. Like, are you freaking kidding me, bro? I mean, can we stop already? Somebody was arguing with me online today when I said when I forget exactly what I said, but I said we got to stop. Like, do people really think the job's that easy that anybody can do it? And right away, somebody snapped back at me. Well, Donald Trump got elected. Yeah, bro, Donald Trump got elected, but obviously he's not doing it. Yeah. Getting elected and doing it are two different things. Anybody could win a popularity contest, but doing it. I mean, my God, do we really want freaking Oprah Winfrey deciding what we're going to do with North Korea?
If we're voting on popularity, I'll go ahead and give you the next election. We don't even have to have the damn thing. If we're going strictly by popularity, they've already announced it on Saturday Night Live. The new president will be... it's a toss-up between Tom Hanks and The Rock. One's going to be president, one is going to be vice president. My guess is that The Rock, being as he's the promo, will be president, and Tom Hanks will be the common sense, the decency, the kindness that stands back in the background and keeps everybody with a level head. So there would be your president. Because with Oprah, we don't even have a vice president. It's going to be Gail.
Gail would be the vice president. Of course she would be.
I guess it would be. She'd be highly offended if she wasn't. But the guy makes a bit of a point with you by stating, hey, Donald Trump. But you make the point by saying he's not doing the job. Here's one thing, and I want your comment on this.
Is this the rabbit hole?
This ain't not really a rabbit hole. It's a hole.
Go ahead.
Do you remember just a few days ago when Hawaii was under?
Yes.
I want to know how you feel about this. When Hawaii was under basically death watch for 38 minutes.
Yes.
Everybody on the
poor Diana Ross got caught up in that, Mr. Bolin.
I hadn't heard that. I'm anxious to hear what you've got on that. But me and Chris and Maya had a discussion about this last night, sitting right here at the castle. And how do you process thinking you're going to die for 38 minutes? And here is where we really got lucky. Donald Trump, fortunately, was taking his fourth day off of, and the dogs are happy, taking his fourth day off of work and was playing golf. And had he been sitting in the Oval Office watching Fox and Friends, as he admits that he loves to do, and he'd seen come across the screen, Hawaii under, this is not a test. Run for your lives. Get in any hole you can get in. You know as well as I do, he would have been wanting to launch the missiles right at North Korea because he would have known that's where they were coming from. We actually got lucky that he was playing golf and did not know. He made almost no responses whatsoever. Nothing for 2 days.
But I got to tell you something, Mr. Ball. I would have to think. I would have to think he got smartened up at the White House, much like George Bush got smartened up in that kid's classroom.
Well, he wasn't at the White House. He was in Mar-a-Lago playing golf.
Yeah, but I would have to think I would have to think his aides would have had to smarten him up to that. No,
I agree with you. So give me this: why did it take 38 minutes for Hawaii to find out they weren't going to die? Why? Somebody has to come forward. They said that the governor of Hawaii tried. It's a female, right?
Yeah.
I think I heard that. And she tried to get the word out. For some reason, it didn't happen. And, of course, when they finally got Trump to say something about it 2 or 3 days later, that's a state problem. No, that's your problem. You, the minute you hear this, have to find out, number one, is there a missile coming? Number two, take it down if we have that capability. Number three, when you find out there's not, you got to let Hawaii know they're not going to die. I watched parents put kids in manhole covers, barely any bigger around than what I'm showing you now. I'm going, how are they going to get that kid back out of there? Well, that wasn't their concern. They were trying to give their kid a fighting chance to survive. I just can't fathom thinking I'm going to die for 38 minutes. And then I go, oh, my bad. All clear. Guy hit the wrong button.
Now, Mr. Bowler, if you
that's as close to the rabbit hole as I'm going to go now.
If you catch wind that
I'd be on Obama just as hard if it were him or Clinton or Bush or any. I'd be on any leader who did not step forward immediately and put an end to this crisis.
Now, Mr. Bolin, if you caught wind that the missiles were headed towards Louisville, Kentucky, are you gonna save the Beats headphones and gather them all and run out of the house with them?
You know what? I love my Beats headphones. You see them right here in the back. You see the Bowling Club.
Yeah, of course I do. Of course.
Well, I'd probably be wanting to listen to my favorite KC and the Sunshine Band and Earth, Wind and Fire and Chicago songs.
Very nice.
So I'd probably grab my cassette deck, my little Walkman, and just wander out into the. As a matter of fact, here's what Chris suggested we do. We live in the highest point of Louisville called the Highlands. We never flood here. It's almost impossible. And we have a big roof that overlooks Louisville. And he says, well, we probably should just go on up to the roof, get our lounge chairs, and wait for the end and just go out happy. That was his suggestion. And I don't have a better answer.
Well, if it's me, I'm a little surprised by that, Mr. Bolin, because considering where you are,
Yeah,
I would think you would point the car to White Castles. And I mean, and go down sitting in White Castles with 2-3 sacks, no?
2.2 miles down the road. That could be a way to go. That could also be a way to counteract the ballistic missiles once they come.
With the agita, Mr. Bolin.
That may work. That may work.
Can we get back to the news and stop this ridiculousness?
We can do that. I thought that was news.
All right. Mr. Bolin, listen to this now, please. And here's where we both get ourselves in trouble, because we have to talk about these things.
We do.
Okay? Mr. Bolin, an actor by the name of Timothy Chalamet and Rebecca Hall have decided to donate their latest salary that they received from a Woody Allen film that they just did. They're going to donate the money to What's Up movement. And the reason they're going to donate it to the What's Up movement is because, if you remember, years and years and years ago,
many moons,
with Mia Farrow, she made the she made the claims that Woody Allen had molested, her child, Dylan, her daughter Dylan at the time. So, and this is decades ago almost. Okay.
Oh, yeah. It's been a long time.
Listen to this. On top of that, Greta Gerwig, Ellen Page, we all know Ellen Page, Juno, and Mira Savino, and David Krumholtz. I don't know who that is, but they have all
pretty well.
Okay, they've all expressed regret in working for Woody Allen. Now, again, we're talking about something that happened years and years ago, but now Alec Baldwin steps forward. Alec Baldwin has made 3 films with Woody Allen, and Alec Baldwin says this case was investigated forensically in both the state of New York and Connecticut, and no charges were filed against Woody Allen. So, obviously they tested this child forensically. They found nothing. They found no proof. It was investigated. There were never any charges filed. So now you got all these actors going back 2 decades ago,
right,
to a case against Woody Allen where he was not found guilty. And now we're bringing this up. The case, Mr. Bolin, here's the problem I have. I don't know how people can make such public stands over situations like this concerning people's lives when they don't know. They don't know. How do you know if Woody Allen is guilty or innocent 20 years ago, especially if he was found not guilty?
You raise a good question. And I'm not sure it hasn't been longer than 2 decades. I don't know the exact year all this came out. I know I've been hearing about it forever. And you don't even mention Woody Allen's name that this doesn't come up. But I don't know the facts of the case. I don't know what was found, what wasn't. If you're telling me that they've investigated, they've done DNA test, and it's not there, there comes a point that you have to let it go, either put up or shut up, as they say. And I'm not defending Woody Allen by any means. But Alec Baldwin is much like me and you. He will come forward and he will step up and he will say things that necessarily people don't like, but he stands his ground and he's willing. And that's the type of person I like to think I am. I think if a guy is innocent, somebody's got to have his back. I think you're the same way. And if there is absolutely no evidence and there's no charges filed, I don't know what else we can do to Woody Allen other than the court of public opinion, which is always normally in a pretty big rush to judge. So to donate your salary just because you worked with a guy, God knows how many years ago. And I'm going to be honest with you, most of these people you named, other than Mira Sorvino and one other name you mentioned, I haven't heard too many of those people.
Well,
and so why? Maybe this is the way that they are calculating. Well, if I donate my money, I'm going to be a hero, and more people will hire me, and I can make even more money than I'm going to donate. Unless it's a business maneuver.
And speaking of that,
it is Hollywood.
Speaking of that, to follow up on this, Mr. Ball, remember we were talking about last week Mark Wahlberg getting the $1.5 million and Michelle Williams getting $1,000. Remember that? Well, Mark Wahlberg heard all this hullabaloo and everything. You know what he did, Mr. Ball? He took the $1.5 million and donated it to charity, for crying out loud.
That's exactly what I heard.
And his agent said exactly what we said. The guy's a freaking businessman. He doesn't work for free. That was the fee he negotiated. I'm not negotiating Michelle Williams's fee. That's her people.
Yeah, and they both agreed to the terms. I don't know why everybody's in such an uproar. It's not like they called him and said, hey, if you'll come back and do these reshoots, we'll give you $1.5 million. Oh, by the way, if you bring your little female friend with you, we'll give her $80 a day. That's what it was. You can't get me to do reshoots for $80 a day. So, but I don't know what she got paid to do the movie to begin with. Now, if Vince Russo's shooting a movie and he decides to put me in it, and Vince paid me $1.5 million to do the movie. Oh, Kenny, we got some problems. We got somebody in this movie that's going to have to be edited out. I need you to come down and do some reshoots with me. Well, you've already paid me 1.5. What do you need me, Vince? Okay, well, Kenny, I can't really pay you any more money. All right. Well, the movie's not going to air if I don't come down and do them, right? No, probably not going to air. Well, I guess I'll see you at noon, Vince. Exactly. Let's get these reshoots done.
Exactly. Mr. Bowling, here's another case in point. Again, there's a headline news anchor woman by the name of Ashley Banfield, and now she feared losing her job because she called. If you remember, if you know the comedian now, Aziz Azaris. I can't pronounce his real name. Can you pronounce it?
I can't either, but I know who you're talking about. Okay, actually, a fan of his. I like his.
Okay, well, some woman came forward and says Aziz was inappropriate to her on a date, and this, that, and the other thing.
On a date, okay.
On a date. So Ashley Banfield feared losing her job because she called out Aziz's accuser, and she basically said, it wasn't sexual misconduct; it was simply bad sex. But again, here's my point. Why would public figures speak out on something where they have no clue whatsoever who's telling the truth?
You got me. The name Ashley Banfield sounds familiar. What network is she with, or do we know?
Headline News.
Okay. All right. I've probably seen her. I don't watch a lot of headline news because I'm too busy on CNN, MSNBC, and occasionally peeking in on Fox. I have heard the name. I know, however you said his name, because I love his work. I love his comedy, but I've seen his specials, and he's a very funny man.
Yeah.
What his sex life is like, I don't know. What happened on that date, I don't know. And
can you imagine going on air and taking a stand like this on air when you don't have you weren't there? Unless you were there, you don't have a clue.
No. There comes a time that even the news people need to shut their mouths. And
here's another one. Listen to this, man, and you're gonna enjoy this one.
All right.
You know, Megyn Kelly has that show she's got.
Of course, I've watched a couple of them.
She had a porn star on the other day by the name of Stormy Daniels.
I've heard of Stormy and Mr. Trump apparently.
Stormy's claiming that Donald Trump chased her around in her underwear at a party 12 years ago.
Now let's make it clear: Stormy Davis is not the new weather person replacing Al Roker on NBC.
Storm Fields.
That's someone else. Yeah,
Mr. Bolin, I swear to God, can I tell you something? Let's be honest here.
Go right ahead.
I'm squeaky clean. And the reason why I can say just about anything is because I know Mr. Bolin, I don't have skeletons in my closet. I really don't, bro. I never cheated on my wife. There's nothing there. So that's why I could freely say whatever I want, because I know as a human being, nobody can dig up anything on me because I never did anything.
I'm not going to say I don't have any, but I revealed all mine.
Yeah.
And remember when we had some arguments here a while back, and he said, "Kenny, do you want anybody digging through your closet?" My closet's wide open. There are no doors literally on my closet.
Mr. Bowling, don't you get concerned, like, with everything going on now, that like literally anybody can say anything about you or me, and like the world's just gonna believe it? It scares the freaking hell out of me. Anybody can say anything.
Funny you bring this up, Brother Russo, because we had this conversation right here with Chris and Maya and some others that were here. I'm just Kenny Bowling. I'm just whatever level of fame I am. I had next to no fame in 1990, when for 6 months I lived in a trailer park in LaGrange, Kentucky with my mother, going through a divorce. Might have been 89, but I was there for about 6 months. And let's say
now, was your late great mother, Ma Bowling, was she bathing you in a sink back then, or?
No comment.
Okay, all right, go ahead, Mr. Bowling. Finish your story, please.
But 1990, and plus I'd visit there for years and years when Mom lived in this trailer park. And let's say that whatever level of fame I had in 1990, which was minuscule, and then all of a sudden he's on regional television throughout the South with Ohio Valley Wrestling, and then he's on DVD worldwide. And now, if you're a wrestling fan, because I've always said, well, Kenny, you're famous. No, I'm famous to serious wrestling fans. I'm not famous. Tom Cruise is famous. Tom Hanks is famous. Hulk Hogan's famous. I am famous to serious wrestling fans. But let's say there's a little girl in a trailer park that says, "Oh my God, that man must have money," because everybody thinks I'm rich. Yeah. Even at the level that I'm at, people think I'm rich. I'm not. I'm okay, but I'm not rich. But let's say there's a little girl in a trailer park that in 1989, oh my, Kenny Bowling put his hand on me inappropriately in 1989 when I was having dinner with his sister. Well, how do you defend that?
Is this a confession, Mr. Bowling?
No, it's not a confession.
Oh, okay, I got to look.
No, it's not.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, I hear you. This scares the hell out of me. Anybody can accuse you of anything.
And it's scary because how do you defend it? And I'm not telling people not to come forward, but by all means, do your best to come forward as quickly as possible. I understand that, well, if I don't do this, I'm going to lose my job. Do you remember? Did you ever watch the Johnny Carson show?
Of course. I still do.
How many times did Johnny Carson on the show refer to the casting couch? And who was ashamed to have ever been on the casting couch? There was no shame. There was no shame. Every girl would just let you assume, well, I didn't have to use the casting couch, even though we've since learned a lot of girls did. Well, it was just part of the game back then. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's actually terrible. But they elected to participate in this game. And then you come and complain about it 20, 30 years later. But the casting couch got its name for a reason. And it ain't been that long ago that the Jay Leno show and Johnny Carson and various other shows would talk about the casting couch. Well, what in the hell did you think the casting couch was? Where we sit down and negotiate the deal? No, that's not what it was.
And you know what's funny too? Like because a lot of those old Carson shows, I think they're on Me TV or they're on one Antenna. Bro, what hot female guest didn't Johnny Carson flirt with? Can you imagine that today?
Let me give you a line. One of the most famous lines Johnny Carson ever said. And you're familiar with Dolly Parton?
Of course.
Well, Dolly Parton was on his show, and just out of the blue, Johnny looked at her. He says, "You do realize I'd donate $1 million to charity for one peek under that blouse of yours." Now, I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what he said. If I could just see those one time, I'll pay $1 million to charity.
Mr. Bowling.
She laughed. And the world laughed, and no one tried to sue Johnny Carson.
Mr. Bowling, you want to want me to put something out there that I've never put out there before. I've never heard this before.
Trailer park inappropriate with any girls? No.
But it'll give people something to talk about. I want to see if Mr. Bowling knows anything about this. And you brought it up quite as a matter of fact.
Okay.
I heard Back in the heyday of one Mr. Hulk Hogan, Terry Bollea, I heard there was a little hey nanny nanny with Terry Bollea and Dolly Parton. Now, have you ever heard that story?
News to me. I hadn't heard that one.
Yes, and yes, that's what I had heard. One of the rumors going around.
I wouldn't argue with it. I mean, Dolly is still gorgeous to this day. How old is she? She's got to be. I'm 57. She's got to be in her 70s.
Oh, she's got to be. She's got. But that's just a rumor. Just a rumor.
Just a rumor. Okay. All right. I wish that rumor was about me. I'd say, yeah. That was me and her. That was me and Dolly.
Here's the last story of the day.
All right.
And we've never talked about this. Quick. Yeah, I'm very curious to get your take on this. Okay. This is hot right now. They're doing a documentary on this steroid dealer by the name of Richard Rodriguez.
Oh boy, go ahead.
And Richard Rodriguez, they're doing a documentary, and he's coming clean, and he's saying some of his customers, Mark Wahlberg, Josh Duhamel, I can never say that right either. But Mark Wahlberg, Josh Duhamel, I think he was married to Fergie, right?
Okay.
And Roman,
just say Fergie's guy.
Yeah, Fergie. Your son was married to Fergie.
Yeah. No. My son, he wasn't married to Fergie. He wishes.
Okay.
I wish he was. There'd be some bucks to be had there. My son brought this up to me, and he
Roman
said,
Reigns. Yeah, Roman Reigns.
He's a dad. Roman Reigns is done. I said, why is that? Big steroid bust in Florida. A lot of names were mentioned. First one came out of the guy's mouth, Roman Reigns. Now, how does Roman Reigns come up before Mark Wahlberg?
Mr. Bolin, let me ask you this now. Let's have a little conversation about this, because I want to get your take on this. You and I are both huge baseball fans.
Absolutely.
Okay. No doubt about it. Steroids made baseball an unfair playing field. Yep. It enhanced you to be a better ball player, to be quicker, to be faster, to be stronger. Guys did that to make more money. Bro, that's why Barry Bonds started on steroids. People don't understand, but Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa were having that year. And Barry Bonds was watching that, knowing they were on freaking steroids. And Bonds said, wait a minute. Yeah, wait a minute, bro. I could do the same thing. That's what got Barry Bonds on steroids. But listen.
Rafael Palmeiro.
Oh, the list goes on and on.
He's wanting to make a comeback at age 53, by the way, and thinks he can do it.
Oh, God. But, yeah, that enhanced their play on the field without a shadow of a doubt. Okay.
The excuse used to be, well, even if they did, it doesn't change their hand-to-eye coordination.
Right, exactly.
No, but Kenny Bolin, if he's 6'2", 275 pounds as a normal human being, and now we put him on steroids and he's 6'2", 295, and he gets 3 mighty swings at a ball, whether he's got hand-to-eye coordination or not, guess what happens if Kenny hits the ball? It goes way further than it used to go. And so don't give me the eye to hand coordination crap. If you hit the ball will go further, faster, and harder, wherever it's hit.
I'll tell you this. You ain't going to get no Kenny Bolin on steroids in the sink.
Not as a rule. No,
right.
Not as a rule.
All right, Mr. Bolin. Now let's look at Roman Reigns.
Okay.
First of all, wrestling is fake. So whether Roman Reigns
made that accusation,
whether Roman Reigns is bigger, stronger, faster, he's not going to have the advantage because the matches are not real. Now, on top of that,
technically you're wrong.
Go ahead.
Because he is going to look better.
Okay, but hold on. That was my next point.
What is this business? Okay, go ahead.
But Mr. Bolin, that is my next point. Now, I could understand that if we're talking about, a Hulk Hogan era. Where you got a Hulk Hogan, an Ultimate Warrior, a Randy Savage. I can understand that.
I wonder if the 3 of those used.
Well, but in today's business, obviously, bro, there are guys on the roster that don't even work out. So, bodies don't matter.
No one's accusing Kevin Oinkins of being unstable.
Kevin Oinkins and Sami Zayn and 80% of the roster, they don't have any bodies. So, we know now your next door neighbor can become a professional wrestler. So now you got to really look at, okay, so what kind of an advantage is Roman Reigns having? Here's my point, Mr. Bull, and I want to get your take on it.
All right.
So my deal is this. In baseball, it was different because it's real. It's an uneven playing field. Wrestling is not real. We already see that. You don't have to have a body to hire a job. To me, what Roman Reigns decides to do with his body doesn't affect me. I could care less. If he wants to eat steroids, one way or another, it doesn't affect me. It doesn't bother me. I think down the road, there are going to be consequences that he's going to have to deal with, but that's his call and not mine. So when wrestlers use steroids, I don't particularly have a problem with that. Do you?
Well, here's the reason I don't, and you covered it. Someone revealed years ago, back in the around the Attitude Era, a little bit before, that wrestling was not on the up and up. I'll be damned if we didn't learn that these matches were predetermined. And yes, it takes the athletic ability. Yes, it takes showmanship. And give me 1 second because this will go away. And you're not going to believe who that is.
Maria. She wants to come over and bathe you.
No, it's Jimmy Cornette. So we're just going to have to let it ring, because if I answer it, I say, well, I'm sorry, I can't take your call. And
that would be great. That would be great podcasting.
Hey, Jim, going to have to call you back. I'm in the middle of a show, but once I'm done, I promise you I'll call you right back. He's going to kill me.
Mr. Baldwin, you just gave me a headline. Jim Cornette appears on Bucket Full of Chicken Necks. Thank you very much, Mr. Do you want your numbers to go up, Mr. Baldwin? Do I have permission to use that headline, Mr. Baldwin? Do you want numbers to go through the roof for this show, Mr. Baldwin?
I don't know.
The answer is we want a yes, Mr. Baldwin. Give me Mr. Baldwin. You said at this beginning of the show, I made you the Pat Cooper of podcasting. They call your phone's ringing off the hook. I need that headline, Mr. Baldwin. Do I have your blessing?
I don't know.
No, I want a yes, Mr. Baldwin.
You're gonna be real
Yes. Jim Cornette makes an appearance on Bucket Full of Chicken Necks. Mr. Baldwin, if I have your permission, just blink twice. That was a blink. Okay, I got it. All right, that's it. Enough said, Mr. Baldwin. Go on with your story, Mr. Baldwin.
I don't know what my story was.
About the steroids and it predetermined and all that.
He's going to be mad.
Yeah, Mr. Baldwin. It's where, Mr. Baldwin, listen, we're in the ratings business, Mr. Baldwin.
Are we still on here?
Mr. Baldwin, we're in the ratings business. Put the heat on me. What else is he going to do to me? Threaten my cat? Who cares?
Oh, no.
I get Mr. Baldwin. Tell me the story.
Okay. What were you talking about?
About the steroids, the guys on steroids, the whole nine.
Steroids are bad. Steroids are bad. Man,
that was money. I got Jim Cornette to appear on a Vince Russo show.
Can I get you to donate to the Kenny Bowling Memorial Fund now? Because he's gonna kill me.
Again, Mr. Ball, please finish your thought about the.
I'm literally sick. I shouldn't have took that call. Oh boy. No. We're in the ratings business,
Exactly. That's what made you take the call.
Yeah.
You're always going to be in a ratings business, Mr. Bowling.
Oh, yeah. I'm always going to be in the ratings business. The steroid thing, would you I feel like I'm in front of the Senate. Would you repeat the question? I don't know if I recollect the question.
What is your take on wrestlers taking steroids?
Here we go. My composure's coming, but I don't care. It's a fake business and it's entertainment. And do we care if the Ice Capades are taking steroids? Do we compare if Barnum and Bailey Circus, if the trapeze artist is taking steroids?
Do we care if Mark Wahlberg's taking steroids?
No, we don't care. And you can't tell me that a lot of them aren't taking them to get roles in movies. Is it an unfair advantage? If the movie calls for a jacked up muscle guy and there's 25 actors that say, I'll never touch a steroid in my life, and then there's 25 that say, well, I'll do whatever it takes to get the movie, then that's the choice you made. But it's not a real athletic competition. Obviously, if you're doing this in the Olympics or something like that, you're gaining an unfair advantage. Look at Russia. They're basically banned from the Olympics this year. And looks like North Korea is going to take their place. But no, I don't care. And my son doesn't care. We've talked about this. He's not particularly a fan of Roman Reigns. I think he's not the worst guy on the roster by any stretch. I've always wondered, though, if he's taken all these steroids, and it's obvious. I mean, you know who is and who's not. And why does he wear that vest all the time?
That's a good point. That's a great point. I mean, kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it?
It does defeat the purpose. If I was taking all this stuff to get a jacked body, I'd kind of want to show it off. But he's had that vest since day one. Who else wore a vest? And he wore it for a reason. Do you remember D'Lo Brown?
Of course, yes.
D'Lo Brown did not have a Roman Reigns, or well, I can't even say Roman Reigns has got a body. All we see is his arms and his hair. So I don't know, but I assume he does.
Mr. Baldwin, are you torn over tomorrow's headline? You're torn over it?
He's gonna be mad. He's gonna be mad because
is he gonna stop talking to you again? I don't want that.
You know what? Just redo this to where, because I saw the first billboard come out to where it says "Bucket Full of Chicken Necks" featuring Kenny Bolin with Vince Russo. And if it's my show, yeah. And I want to change the name of because I put this out on Twitter recently. I want to change the name of the show from a bucket full of chicken necks to Bitchin' with Bolin.
I can't change the name of the show. People, we've been calling it a bucket full of chicken necks for years.
Has it been that long?
Oh my God! Yeah, I did the show from the beginning.
Isn't it time for a change?
Is he going to stop talking to you because we got him on the air?
Probably. Yeah, probably.
What can we say? How do we get out? What do we say? That it came up restricted?
Nope. He knows better. He knows better.
Rating, Mr. Bolin, ratings, podcast 1 ratings.
I know.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
All right,
can I call your editors back in about 30 minutes?
Are you going to tell him or let him find out on his own?
Probably, if I was a decent friend, I probably should tell him.
Well, he might not find out. Maybe he won't even find out.
He says he pays no attention to what I do, or what I does.
See, Mr. Baldwin, there you go. You got your answer right there, Mr. Baldwin.
Say that.
Mr. Baldwin, what do we have?
I want this aired in its entirety. That I may have been against this. I just want everything aired in its entirety.
All right. Well, yeah. Hey, he's gonna say. Listen. He's gonna say anyway. Oh, I used it. I used his name for ratings. This and that. And yeah, you're damn right. I did, bro. I don't have a problem with that. It put you over.
I think it's only fair that he has you on MLW. Maybe you go. I don't know.
Mr. Ball. Any chance of this man making up with me before one of us dies, or absolutely out of the question?
I don't think he's going to make up with either one of us before either one of us dies.
Do you know what great podcasting I could do with Jim Cornette?
I do.
Unbelievable. I do. What a waste. It's just
I absolutely do.
What a silly waste,
Mr.
Bolin, do you know I was looking at numbers like just last week, okay? Yeah. Do you know that when you and Vito went at it, we had like the highest ratings ever on podcast ever.
I was told that. And people like controversy, people like mayhem. And but see, I couldn't give that to them every week because what they got was real. And I know that you liked the confrontation for the sake of the show, but I couldn't go to that level of anger every week. Yeah. And then plus, like I said, like I told you, from a moral standpoint, I had my reasons that I did not like him, and it just I'm just so happy that you come up with a way to where he's got his thing, I got my thing, and our paths need not cross. And but no, I can understand, because when two people really flat do not like each other, like Lawler and Dundee, they never liked each other. You and Bischoff, probably. I don't know.
Why do you think, why do you think, let me tell you something, Kenny, I'm a big Howard Stern fan, and my favorite Howard Stern fan is when his staff is just going at it. Like, those are my favorite shows. Why do you think people like conflict? I mean, and like, to me, like you said, bro, I swear to God, Kenny, you said you did it for the show. It's not so much that I did it for the show. I get highly entertained by that. I find conflict like very entertaining. Why do you think people find conflict entertaining?
You were feeding off that like a wolf in the woods that found a dead deer when Vito started going.
Why do you think people find that entertaining?
Well, do you watch NBA basketball?
Yes.
Did you see the fight last night of the guy who can't throw a punch?
No, I did not.
Oh my God. They had this big fight that broke out. It was Orlando and maybe Toronto. I can't remember. A couple of guys I've never heard of, and they get into a little beef and they get in each other's face, and then they come back down the court and they bump into each other and they get into it again. So a push turns into a shove, and then all of a sudden with the right hand, and I'm left-handed. I can't recreate this. We'll say the microphone is the basketball player's head, and he comes up and he swings as hard as he can. The guy, the Lithuanian, whatever he was, and I'm probably wrong, ducks. He swings and misses, and now he grabs him, puts him in a headlock, and he just holds him because he's like 7 feet tall, and the other guy is like 6'2", and he just holds him, and he won't let him go anywhere, and he's waiting for everybody to calm the situation down. And he even said, and he got thrown out of the game, and all he did was defend himself, lock the guy down, and then there's people out there that I'm sure saw this. This was the lead on SportsCenter. And he got thrown out of the game for defending himself and trying to calm him down. And he even said, the man was crazy. I just tried to calm him down. And that's all he did. But had he hit him, everybody said on SportsCenter, number one, the guy that threw the punch would be out of basketball for at least a month. They'd given him a 30-day suspension because he'd have broke the guy's jaw. And the guy who got hit would have probably been out, because if he'd have hit him as hard as he swung, he would have been in a hospital somewhere, because he was getting blindsided by this. He had no idea the guy was just going to roundhouse him. But fortunately, like most basketball players, he couldn't fight. Like most baseball players can't fight and have no business. And you love a baseball fight, right? What games are more entertaining than like when Cincinnati would play Pittsburgh? Because you know that somebody's getting beaned three times in each game.
But you know what, Kenny? I swear to you, I'd rather see a verbal confrontation than a physical one.
Well, you're a nonviolent man. Most of this country is not built on that frame. Most people want to see a physical confrontation as long as they're not the one in it. It's like in every schoolyard fight there ever was. It's 100 kids trying to push two people into a fight because they're too big of cowards to be in one themselves. And you want to be in a fight so bad, you be in it. Don't be pushing me into it, or maybe my former friend into it. And that's just what our culture and our life is built on, is violence. And we're a little more tame than most, but most people want to see a fight. Yeah. And in wrestling, we've been trained that the best fights are done verbally. So in the wrestling world, we're trained to that.
Now, Mr. Ball, I want to get back to that phone call for a second, because the more I think about it, did Mr. Cornette admit to being a liar? Because did he say, Kenny, I just lied for the first time today? So could that be the headline? Jim Cornette calls into Vince Russo's show and admits to being a liar.
Well, he did say, I want to compare my lies to yours. So he's already assuming that I've already started my day.
Mr. Ball, here's what I'm going to do for you, because I love you. I love you like the brother I never had. You know that, Mr. Bowling.
Wow.
This is too good to pass up.
Okay.
But I'm not. I'm going to do it organically. You know how, like, Mr. Bowling, you know how, like, the DVDs have the little Easter eggs, and you find these Easter eggs and it's some kind of surprise?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all I'm going to do is in the description of the show, I'm going to put somewhere in the description of the show that there was a mystery caller, and you're going to have to listen you're going to have to listen with your own ears to believe.
You're wishing this was on Realm Network right now.
That's all I'm going to say. I'm not mentioning names. I'm not using names. I'm going to put the Easter egg, and they're going to have to crack open.
You're going to make them hunt for it. You're going to make them hunt for it.
We're going to do it organically. It's going to happen organically.
is this show by some mystery of science going to end up on Realm Network this week? Because I don't think we normally are, right?
This is podcast one, Mr. Bowling.
This is podcast one.
This is the world. This is the world. This is the world we're talking about, Mr. Bowling.
This is the world.
Okay, so listen,
you think Maya's ratings are going to get stomped in the ground out of this? You think just that one little poor little Maya?
Since this may be your last show, Mr. Bowling,
it could be. It could
plug away. What do you got for us this week?
Oh, yeah, it's not going to do any good. I'm not going to get to spend any money.
Well, you're going to have to make money for the next couple of years. So go ahead. What do you got?
Somebody's got to bury me. I just went through that. The Bowling Club hat. We have reduced these, thanks to my good folks at Collar and Elbow. We have reduced these from $25.95 to $19.95 shipped. We also have the somewhere here we do. We got it over here. The BS logo. I'm showing it to the microphone like some idiot. The BS logo hat. We've got those for the very first time ever. Never sold hats before. Have you ever sold hats?
Never.
I'm in the southern market, man, and everybody down here wears a hat. And I've been an idiot for the last 6 years not selling these things. They've been going like they say, like hotcakes, and who in the South doesn't like hotcakes? Also, my book. I'm in a new market here. I'm with Vince Russo, and I don't promote my book enough. My book is I probably screwed you too. The mostly true stories of Kenny Starmaker Bowling. That's in case you read something and go, God, that can't be true. And now I'm covered. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But I'm telling you, about 98% of that book is true. So you'll just have to pick which story or two is not. Let's see. We got the Bowling Club hoodies. We got a few extra of those. If I got any in your size, contact my inbox. Let me know. The Bowling Club and Bowling BS logo shirts. We're bringing that back. We hadn't ordered any of those in a while, but people were wanting BS Classic to come back, so we have those shipped for $25.95 in all sizes. We used to charge more for fat people. I'm a fat person, so I can say that. But we don't do that anymore. Collar and Elbow worked it out to where all shirts, all sizes, same price. So $25.95 regardless how fat you are.
Hey, Mr. Paul, let me throw something at you for marketing purposes. Have you ever thought about throwing any color? Like, why don't you do those shirts and the hat? Why don't you try like another color?
Well, funny you mentioned that because Spencer Green, a guy and Chris Doyle, they both are kind of work on designs for me from time to time. Chris Doyle's down in Australia, down in Perth. You got any fans in Perth?
Oh, quite a few. Quite a few. Seriously.
I got at least 3 or 4. I can't say quite, but I do have quite a few in Australia. But Perth is on one side of Australia, and then Melbourne is on the other. And for some reason, people like me down there. They say that I am like them, only with a dirtier mouth on some shows. And but no, they help me with designs, and we're going to do the red Bowling Club shirt coming up in the very near future. It costs a little bit more to make those because you have to put them down in white and then put red over them, or it just doesn't look right. So it's a little bit more to make those. There's been a pretty good demand for them, and so we're going to come up with red ones a little later in 2018.
All right, Mr. Bowling, let's get back to this phone call. What do you think would have happened if I would have said something?
Literally sick.
What do you think would have happened if I would have said something?
We just got back together. Well, he wouldn't have heard you because you're on headphones. So we wouldn't have heard you. Could have said anything you wanted.
Thank God. Yeah, but you see, I didn't say anything. You see, I didn't
say anything out of respect. Is that what that was?
Absolutely out of respect, Mr. Bowling.
Yeah. And I literally have a queasy feeling in my stomach.
No, I'm going to do the Easter egg. I'm going to do the Easter egg. You're not going to believe who called in. You're going to have to listen with your own ears to believe, because you won't believe me. Okay. That's it.
All right. That's fair enough, I guess. You promised me the word Jim Cornette on your show.
You have my word. But I'm concerned, though. If he catches wind of this, what's going to be the alibi? What are you going to say?
I had a momentary lapse in judgment.
Will that be okay? You think he'll forgive that?
Nope. No, I don't.
So you're going to be stuck with me for the next 10 years again.
It looks like I'm stuck with you. Can we redo our contract? Can I redo the 2-year contract and up that to a 10? Because I think I'm going to need it.
Speaking of the 2-year contract,
does this kill the conspiracy theory, by the way, that I was only here so I could get back in the good graces of Cornette and go back?
Very good point. Mr. Bowling, when is there going to be a new Brolin Alley, for crying out loud? I got everybody on my back. They want to know when there's going to be a new show. You got a new co-host.
Thanks to you, never. It doesn't look like I'm going to get to do one. Here's my theory on that. I was abruptly canceled by Jeff Lane and the good folks at Realm Network and
You would never can.
podcast.
You were never canceled.
Canceled.
Never
I
canceled.
had to read on your network that my show was coming to an end, and that also I needed a new host. So
You were never canceled. Your show never came to an end.
So I'm doing what I used to do. I'm making the people want it. Or at least I hope so. So you have given me a reason to go forward, to go ahead and give the new co-host his go.
Yeah, please. They're busting my onions waiting for your
Really?
show.
Really?
Yes.
That's good. I didn't know anyone cared.
Yes. No, they are. And I keep.
I just thought now that I was doing this, I
I'm
thought that I was doing this 4 times a month on a couple of bowling alley live.
No, they want that show, and I can't. I'm trying to hold them at bay, but
Here we go. We are going to do a reunion show with all my previous co-hosts except the ones I didn't like. So the backward hat guy's out. The guy that loves to fantasize about Jimmy Cornette is out, and and Jeff Lane is welcome to come if he likes, even though he canceled me. Well, he made his own.
You think maybe by the end of the month, maybe?
By the end of the month, I think we're going to record it. If not at the end of this week, we're going to record it Monday of next week.
Okay.
And it will probably be ready for upload by mid next week is my goal.
All right.
And y'all do have to understand, I planned on doing this a little sooner, but with the passing of my mom, I wasn't really focused on doing the bowling alley.
Right.
And, or the bowling alley. And, but I didn't want to leave Vince hanging on this show. And this is podcast 1 where the ratings are. So,
yeah. Well, especially especially after this week, because you never know who's going to call in.
And even Mo Bolin would have said, "Can you get off your ass and do the job?"
Yeah. All right, Mr. Bolin. That's it for this week's show. I thank you very much. I was very
welcome. You're welcome.
Big numbers. Big numbers. I'm expecting.
Huge. My God.
All right, Mr. Bolin. Have a great day, my friend.
Yeah.
We will see everybody tomorrow. Same bat time. Same bat channel.